Hello everybody, it's Stella from New Hope Wellbeing and we are back with another video, and today we are going to be discussing, and this one's going to be a bit of a lengthy video because she is quite the well-known and oftentimes misunderstood goddess, and we're going to be discussing the goddess Hekate. So Hekate is a Titan goddess and she is the goddess of magic, witchcraft, the night, moon, ghosts, and utilizing the dead. I'm not going to get that word out today. I am so sorry. So she was the only child of the Titans Perseus and Asteria, with whom she received her power over heaven, earth, and the sea. She assisted the goddess Demeter in her search for Persephone and guided her through the night with flaming torches. After the mother and daughter's reunion, she became Persephone's minister and companion in Hades. 3 metamorphosis myths describe the origins of her animal familiars: the black she-dog and the polecat. The dog was the Trojan queen Hekate, who leapt into the sea after the fall of Troy and was transformed by the goddess. The polecat was either the witch Gale, turned as punishment for her incontinence, or the midwife of Alcmenia, Galantheus, who was transformed by the enraged goddess Alethea, but adopted by the sympathetic Hekate. She is usually depicted in Greek vase paintings as a woman holding twin torches. Sometimes she was dressed in a knee-length maiden skirt and hunting boots, much like Artemis. In statuary, she's often depicted as in the triple form of the goddess of the crossroads, which is what she's most commonly well known for in this day and age. Her name means worker from afar, from the Greek word Hekatos. The masculine form of Hekatos which was also a common name for the god Apollo, who was the god of the sun. Hekate was identified with a number of other goddesses, including Artemis, Selene, Persephone, the sea goddess Caritas, and the goddess of the Taurian. I have no idea what my notes are saying there. Hang on, so the Taurian Chrysostom in Scythia, as well as a few others. She is honoured in the household as a protective goddess who brought prosperity. Hekate Hekate precedes the Olympians. I mean, she is in the Titans, so they do precede the Olympians. And it seems that she was highly worshipped in Thrace. She was also closely associated to the spiritual world, ghosts, and the dead. A shrine to Hekate was placed in the entrances of homes or even cities, hoping to protect them from the evil spirits that roamed the world. In art, she was initially depicted as being a single figure. However, in later periods, she would become the threefold goddess, or the three-faced goddess. I've already said that. So Hekate possesses numerous and quite often contradictory sides to her nature. She's an underworld goddess, and as the goddess of magic and witchcraft, she's also one who wanders at night. She is known as the leader of dogs. She's the goddess of the crossroads. She's also the goddess of the triple road. She's also known as a helper to mortals, and also as a bringer. She's also known as a savior, and also a bringer of light. So she's got many different faces, many different. Her scope of being is very large, I guess you could say. And I think and her mythology has just over the ages has just increased and increased and increased, become more and more so. She's a powerful goddess, and she ruled over many dominions or domains. By the 5th century BCE, she was above all a goddess of magic and witchcraft, but she was also still associated with the underworld, the ghosts in the moon, and various animals, especially dogs and creatures of night. She's also associated with female initiation, including marriage and childbirth, agriculture, and entrances to public and private spaces, such as the crossroads, the doorways, and fortifications. Hekate functions encompassed virtually every aspect of human life and death. But her origins are even more mysterious than the goddess herself, and even more unclear. She probably originated as a Carian goddess who was adopted by the Greeks during the Archaic period in anywhere between 800 BCE and 480 BCE. So Hekate has also changed considerably over time. She was unknown to Homer when she first appeared in the 7th century BCE in Hesiod's Theogony, where she was very different from the underworld goddesses of witchcraft she eventually became. Hesiod praises Hekate at length as a goddess whom Zeus honoured above all. And Hesiod's Hekate also has a share of earth, sea, and sky, but not the underworld, and provides aid to all mortals, kings, warriors, athletes, shepherds, fishermen, mothers, children, and so on. Hesiod's Hekate also seems unrecognisable to what she would become later on in her later developments. By the 5th century BCE, she has become a much darker, more menacing figure, though she is still sometimes seen as kind or helpful. She has become primarily a goddess of witchcraft by this time, the night and the underworld. But how and why this shift occurred still remains a mystery. In her earliest representations, Hekate looked like a goddess who was shown very modestly robed and generally seated. Around 430 BCE, this is when she acquired the triple goddess appearance. Artists began to represent the goddess in a female figure with the 3 faces or 3 bodies. The iconography at the time reflected Hecate's role as a goddess of the crossroads, with 1 face or body corresponding to each of the crossing roads, allowing Hekate to watch over each road simultaneously. These statues quickly became popular and were placed on poles or columns, and were even included in front of private homes. Aside from the triple form, she was often also identified by a polis, which is kind of a cylindrical crown, and by torches. And she's often depicted accompanied by dogs. It is said that the howling or barking of these dogs would announce her presence when she wandered at night, accompanied by an entourage made up of the souls of the dead, especially the souls of girls who had died unmarried or childless. She's often described as a virgin goddess, similar to Artemis, and she's often depicted wearing a maid's knee-length dress. And she's also one of the goddesses who actually took Zeus's side in the war that would eventuate to come between the Olympians and the Titans. So these are just some snippets of her mythology that I have found. So this is from Hesiod's Theogony. Hekate, whom Zeus the son of Cronos honoured above all, he gave her splendid gifts to have a share of the earth and the unfaithful sea. She received honour also in starry heaven, and is honoured exceedingly by the deathless gods. For as many as were born of Gaia and Ouranos, amongst all these she has her due portion. The son of Cronos did her no wrong, nor took anything away of all that was her portion among the former Titan gods, but she holds as the division was as the first from the beginning, privilege both in earth and in heaven and in sea. Also because she is an only child, the goddess receives not less honour, but much more still, for Zeus honours her. This is from, the following passages are from one of Homer's hymns. So this one starts with, "Then she, Persephone, cried out shrilly as she was seized by the god Hades, with her voice calling upon her father, the son of Kronos, Zeus, who is most high and excellent, but no one, either of the deathless gods or mortal men, heard her voice, nor yet the olive trees bearing rich fruit. Only tender-hearted Hekate, bright-coiffed, and daughter of Perseus, heard the girl from her cave, and the lord Helios, the sun. Then for 9 days queenly Demeter wandered over the earth with flaming torches in her hands, so grieved that she never tasted ambrosia and the sweet draught of nectar, nor sprinkled her body with water. And when the 10th enlightening dawn had come, Hekate, with a torch in her hands, met her, and spoke to her and told the news. Queenly Demeter, bringer of seasons and giver of good gifts, what god of heaven or what mortal man has rapt away Persephone and pierced with sorrow your dear heart? For I heard her voice, yet saw not with my eyes who it was, but I tell you truly and shortly all I know." So then said Hekate, and the daughter of rich-haired Rhea answered her not, but sped swiftly with her, holding flaming torches in her hands. So they came to Helios, who is watchman of both gods and men, and stood in front of their horses, and the bright goddess inquired of him. Then in the next passage, this is also from one of Homer's hymns. This is after Persephone was returned from the underworld to Demeter. Then bright-coiffed Hekate came near to them, and often did she embrace the daughter of holy Demeter. And from that time the lady Hekate was minister and companion to Persephone. Now I'm not too sure, I think this is also from a Homeric hymn as well, and it says, "Odysseus received Queen Hekate as his captive following the fall of Troy. During the voyage back to Greece, she murdered a Thracian king and was stoned by the locals. The gods then transformed her into a black dog, and she became the animal familiar of the goddess Hekate. In this myth, the queen was clearly identified with Bendius, the Thracian Hekate, who was offered dogs in sacrifice." And in this last one, which came from the 2nd century AD, it says, "I have heard that the land marten or polecat was once a human being. It has also reached my hearing that Gail was her name then, but she was a dealer in spells and a sorceress, that she was extremely incontinent, and that she was afflicted with abnormal sexual desires. Nor has it escaped my notice that the anger of the goddess Hekate transformed it into this evil creature. May the goddess be gracious to me. Fables and their tellings I leave to others." So that is just a very, very small amount about Hekate. A very mysterious goddess, even in today's standards. There is just so much about her origins that does remain in mystery. Whether she truly was born from within Greece, or whether she was adopted into the Greek pantheons from trading partners and things, we don't know. But she's a very powerful goddess, but also a very mysterious goddess, and she's both kind, but also but it can also be quite mean, and she encompasses everything basically. So that's just a little bit about Hekate. We will be back next week with some more videos. Until then, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week and a great weekend. We'll speak soon. Bye.